France will open the redesign of the Notre Dame Cathedral's iconic roofline to international architects after Monday night's blaze gutted the oak-framed structure and sent its 300-foot spire crashing through its vaulted ceiling, the Prime Minister said on Wednesday. President Emmanuel Macron pledged Notre Dame, one of France's best-loved symbols, would be rebuilt within 5 years. Tycoons and international firms have promised financial and expert help in rebuilding the 850-year-old cultural icon. Notre Dame was built over nearly 200 years starting in the middle of the 12th century, though it was only in the mid-1800s that architect Eugene Viollet-le-Duc added the lead-covered spire during restoration work. The international competition will allow us to ask the question of whether we should even recreate the spire as it was conceived by Viollet-le-Duc, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe told reporters. Or if, as is often the case in the evolution of heritage, we should endow Notre Dame with a new spire. Mr. Philippe said the competition will also assess whether the spire should be adapted to technologies and challenges of our times. Stéphane Bern, head of France's Heritage fundraising drive, said the fire served as a kind of wake-up call for the challenges of preserving French heritage. Firstly, our heritage is fragile. We can see that. Notre Dame is 850 years of history, 850 years that stood through everything, fires, wars, revolutions, he said. Meanwhile, firefighters were using a crane to hoist supports to stabilize a fire-ravaged pinnacle that houses one of the cathedral's historic rose stained glass windows. There was no immediate danger that the centuries-old structure would collapse, but statues were also being removed to reduce the risk of movement now that it was no longer supported by the oak-framed roof, the fire service's spokesman said. Video, a timeline of the Notre Dame fire, ABC News, 5-year timeline scrutinized photo, an artist's sketch of the interior of Notre Dame Cathedral. Flickr, American Gret, more than $1 billion in donations have poured in for the vast restoration of the fire-ravaged Notre Dame Cathedral, but a pledge by French President Emmanuel Macron that it will be completed within 5 years was facing accusations of being wildly off track. Prominent French conservation architect Pierre-Luigi Pericolo told In Rocks magazine it could take triple that time. No less than 15 years, it's a colossal task, Mr. Pericolo said. Mr. Pericolo worked on the restoration of the 19th century Saint Donatien Basilica, which was badly damaged by fire in 2015 in the French city of Nantes. He said it could take between 2 to 5 years just to check the stability of the massive cathedral that dominates the Paris skyline. It's a fundamental step, and very complex, because it's difficult to send workers into a monument whose vaulted ceilings are swollen with water, Mr. Pericolo told France Info. The stone can deteriorate when it is exposed to high temperatures and change its mineral composition and fracture inside. The comments came as Notre Dame's rector said he would close the once functioning cathedral for 5 to 6 years, acknowledging that a segment of the near 900-year-old edifice may be gravely weakened. Read more about Notre Dame and the devastating fire the arrow has fallen, an Australian's unique account of the Notre Dame tragedy, how a medieval design trick helped save Notre Dame from perishing completely. Crown of Thorns saved from Notre Dame fire by human chain video. Bystanders in the French capital capture the moment the spire collapses. Incredible photos show the extent of the damage to the historic building. Australian newlyweds took photos inside Notre Dame hours before the fire started. Take a look at what the Gothic cathedral looked like before the fire. The history behind the famous Parisian landmark. Reuters AP.